Every single decision you make in your business, which products to stock, who to market to, how much inventory to order, well, it's basically a bet on what's going to happen next. So today, we're going to break down how you can stop just guessing and start using your data to stack the odds firmly in your favor. Okay, let's dive right in.
Just think about it for a second. How often are you relying on your gut feeling or maybe last year's numbers to make these really critical calls? Look, it's what most of us do. But what if there was a way to replace that guesswork with actual data-driven forecasts? That is exactly what we're here to unpack.
So before you can start predicting the future, you've got to have a solid blueprint for understanding what's happening right now and what's happened in the past. We're going to break down analytics into 3 core levels. And trust me, getting these is the key to making way smarter decisions.
First up, we've got descriptive analytics. Honestly, the best way to think about this is like the rearview mirror in your car. It's your dashboard. It tells you what already happened. How many new customers did we get last month? Which product was the best seller? You have to know where you've been to have any clue where you're going. It's step 1.
Okay, now this is where the magic really starts to happen. Predictive analytics. It takes all that historical data, all those things that already happened, and it finds these hidden patterns that tell you what's probably coming next. Questions like, will this particular customer cancel their subscription next month? Or how much revenue are we going to make in Q3? This is basically our crystal ball, only it's powered by data.
And at the very top, the most advanced level is prescriptive analytics. Now, this is a game changer because it doesn't just predict the future. It literally tells you what you should do about it. So if the model says a customer is 78% likely to churn, it might also recommend the exact discount offer that's most likely to make them stay. It's not just a forecast, it's a recommendation.
So here's what it all boils down to. It's the question you're asking. See, descriptive is all about looking in that rearview mirror asking what happened, but predictive is about looking forward through the windshield and asking what will happen. And that shift from past to future is everything. It's the difference between just reporting on your business and strategically forecasting for it.
All right, so you get the what. Let's get into the how. We're going to build out your practical toolkit. And the good news? You do not need a PhD in data science for this. The entire kind of complex world of predictive models really boils down to 2 main types you need to know. It's really this simple. Just ask yourself 2 questions. Are you trying to predict a number, like, say, sales revenue? That's a how much question. For that, you need a forecasting model. Or are you trying to predict a category, like, will this customer churn? Yes or no? That's a which one question. And for that, you need a classification model. How much or which one? That's it. So think of this slide as your cheat sheet. It helps you match the right model to whatever business question you have. You can see how a how much question, like forecasting demand, falls squarely under, well, forecasting. But that which one question, like is this a good lead or a bad lead, that uses classification for a simple yes/no. You can even see how it handles more than 2 options, like predicting which of your 5 products a customer might buy next. The bottom line is, your business question tells you exactly which tool to pull out of the toolkit.
Okay, you've got the toolkit. Now you need the construction plan. Building a predictive model isn't some kind of mysterious dark art. It's really more like an engineering project. And like any good project, it follows a clear, repeatable 4-step framework.
These are the 4 pillars of pretty much any successful AI project. We're going to walk through each one. But the real key here is that you have to follow them in order. If you skip a step, it's kind of like trying to put up the drywall before you've even poured the foundation. It's just not going to work.
So step 1. This is the most important one, and frankly, it's where most projects just completely fall apart. A vague goal like, let's improve retention, it's totally useless. You need a super specific measurable target. Something like, let's identify which customers are going to churn in the next 30 days, and let's do it with at least 80% accuracy. See? A clear target like that gives your project a North Star. The rule is simple. If you can't actually do something with a prediction, don't even bother building the model. All right, on to step 2, data. And here's a number that just shocks almost everyone. 60 to 70%. That's how much of the entire effort of building a model is spent just getting the data ready. Yeah, it's not the glamorous part, for sure. But cleaning your data, combining it, structuring it, that is where the battle is won or lost. And this is why your business knowledge, your expertise, is actually your superpower. The variables you feed into the model, we call them features, that's what gives it its predictive power. For instance, you probably know that how often a customer logs in is a way better predictor of churn than, say, their age. That's domain expertise, and no fancy algorithm can figure that out on its own.
So once your data is all prepped and ready, you can move to step 3. And here's the trick. You never test your model on the same data it learned from. That's like giving the student the answers to the test before they take it. Instead, you split your data. You train the model on one piece, and then you test its performance on a separate, unseen piece to see if it can actually make accurate predictions in the real world.
And finally, we have step 4, which is the step that almost everyone forgets. A model is not a set it and forget it kind of tool. The world changes, right? Customer behavior changes. And because of that, your model's accuracy will slowly decay over time. We call this model drift. And if you don't have a plan to monitor it and retrain it, even the best model will eventually become useless.
And this is why it's all worth it. Following that 4-step plan, it's not just some academic exercise. It leads to real, tangible business results. I mean, look at this. A SaaS company built a churn model, proactively reached out to the customers it flagged as at risk, and saw a 12% improvement in net revenue retention. That is the payoff. That's huge.
Okay, so you've got the blueprint, you've got the toolkit, and you have the construction plan. But before you break ground, every good builder does one last thing, a final inspection. They look for common structural flaws that could bring the whole project tumbling down. So let's look at what those are.
These are the 5 big ones to watch out for. First, garbage in, garbage out. If your data is a mess, your model will be useless. We talked about model drift. You have to plan to retrain it. Third, and this is huge, don't build a model if you're not actually going to act on what it tells you. Also, make sure you're optimizing for a metric that actually matters to the business, not some vanity metric. And finally, never ever assume that just because 2 things happen together, that one caused the other.
So let's bring this all home. What's the real transformation here? What's the big payoff? It's really about moving away from that world of just making uncertain, educated guesses and stepping into a new reality of data-driven confidence. This right here is the main takeaway. Forecasting models, they help you answer how much, which lets you reduce risk and optimize your resources. And classification models, they help you answer which one, letting you zero in on your best opportunities and flag your biggest risks. You're no longer just reacting to what happened last month. You're proactively shaping what happens next month.
And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. Just look at your own business. Think about the daily bets you're making based on your gut instinct. What is the single biggest, most important guess you're making right now that you could replace with a real data-driven forecast? That's where this journey really begins.